Backward bending supply. Economists' biggest mistake. The foundation. This graph can be found in, for example, Varian, 1993. The curve is called an isequent, or indifference curve, while the straight line represents a budget or cost. The isequent can be formulated by a function like this, while the cost is the sum of the last two terms in this equation. Their tangent point represents an optimality with maximum profit. Labor demand. Given an optimality, A, if W becomes lower, the cost line becomes flatter, to result in a new optimality, B, with a larger optimal L. The move from A to B reveals a negative relation between W and optimal L. That implies a labor demand function. The backward bending supply. Conversely, according to Varian, a higher W makes the cost line steeper, to result in another new optimality, C, with also a larger optimal L. The move from A to C may already reveal some relation, but Varian started his sketching from the maximum L bar. Varian called the connecting curve L bar, A, C, the labor supply curve. Labor supply, the reverse measure of L, first increases then decreases, as the cost line becomes steeper and steeper. Such a shape is said to be backward bending. To bend or not to bend. Since A is the original optimality, it must be the starting point of any relational deduction. And the relation between labor supply, the reverse measure of L, and W can only be negative. Negative supply versus positive demand. Apart from a negative supply relation, the move from A to C may also imply a positive demand relation. That is, demanding more L in face of a higher W. Though both A and C achieve optimality, there is a fundamental flaw in between that will disprove these abnormal supply and demand. Cross demand. In fact, the cause of the cost line change is not a higher W, but a lower R. A lower R associated with a larger labor demanded is still a negative relation, but a cross demand one. Here is the complete labor demand function containing, among others, this negative cross relation. Capital demand. Alternatively, this relation can also be the negative demand between R and optimal K, as also indicated in this complete capital demand function. Cross demand for capital. Likewise, this picture can also imply a negative cross demand between W and optimal K. Output supply. The only supply relation derivable from this graph is the output one. This is the complete output supply function, which indicates also the negative cross supply relations between W and optimal Q, and between R and optimal Q. Of course, a higher isequent represents a larger Q. Varian's mistake. This picture depicts the change of labor price, W. This picture reflects the change of capital price, R. Varian mistook the change of R for that of W. Varian's mistake 2. The maximum L on the cost line, or any point without tangency, is not an optimality. Varian's mistake 3. He did not work out the explicit solutions of the optimization mathematics. Conclusion. This video introduces the concept of cross demand and supply.